Do this for the next 90 days. What if I told you that in just 90 days, you could transform into a completely different person? Imagine waking up 3 months from now as someone stronger, wiser, and far more intentional. Do you believe that's possible? No, I'm not talking about a whole year or a lifetime, just 90 days. You heard me correctly. In just 3 months, the version of you who hesitates, gets easily distracted, and spends hours scrolling aimlessly for inspiration will be a thing of the past. Instead, you'll emerge as a sharp, focused individual who knows exactly what you're doing every morning when you wake up. You won't be someone who chases feelings. Instead, you'll lead them. You won't live reactively, but rather make intentional choices that shape your day, your life, and your future. And the best part? You won't need to search for motivation anymore. You'll become the source of it. Sounds like a dream, doesn't it? But trust me, this is not just a dream, it's a decision. And if you're truly committed to making the next 90 days the most powerful and transformative period of your life, then I invite you to walk with me on this journey from start to finish. But let me clarify something. This 90-day transformation isn't just about building new habits or tackling physical challenges. It's far deeper than that. It's about mind training, adopting the principles of Stoic philosophy, where happiness comes not from external circumstances, but from living a life grounded in reason, mastering your emotions, and focusing only on what you can control. When these 90 days are shaped by the Stoic spirit, you won't just change your routine or your habits. You'll change who you are at the core. The person you become will be more resilient, calm, and intentional in everything you do. Are you ready for that? If you're ready to take that step, I want you to do something right now. Comment 90 days of discipline below this video. This marks the moment you make a commitment to yourself. But don't just watch this video. Take action. Start by learning the art of distinguishing what's within your control. In Stoic philosophy, one question reigns supreme. Is this within my control? If it's not, let it go. If it is, act immediately, without hesitation. As Epictetus, the Stoic master, once said, some things are up to us, and some are not. This simple truth is at the heart of Stoicism. Life is full of surprises. The weather changes, markets fluctuate, people disappoint you, and our health can fail us. You can't control the world around you, but you can control how you respond to it. When you truly grasp this concept, that's when you start to live as a warrior of the mind, someone who remains unshaken by emotions and undistracted by external circumstances. This shift in mindset will be the foundation of your 90-day transformation. But let me tell you something crucial. Your journey will be pointless if you're constantly fighting battles that don't belong to you. If you're getting caught up in social media, obsessing over others' opinions, and waiting for someone else's approval, you're wasting valuable energy. That's not the way of a warrior. Many of us are defeated not because we're weak, but because we're fighting the wrong battles. That's why the first step of your 90-day challenge isn't about reading books, meditating, or exercising. It's about cutting out distractions, turning off notifications, deleting social media apps, and stepping away from the noise that lies outside your control. Why? Because when you focus on what you can control, you'll find clarity and strength. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, used to begin every morning with a ritual of reflection. Not to pray, but to prepare. He would remind himself of what lay ahead: chaos, disrespect, ignorance. But he didn't write it down to complain. He wrote it down to train his mind. He would remind himself, You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. These words weren't just philosophical musings. They were a battle plan, a shield to protect his mind from the storms of life. You might be thinking, but I'm not an emperor. I'm just an ordinary person. And that's the beauty of Stoicism. It's not reserved for the extraordinary. It's for anyone who's willing to live with discipline. The first discipline, however, starts in the mind. It's about training yourself not to let external events sweep you away. Over the next 90 days, treat every day as if you have only 24 hours of energy to spend, and you cannot afford to waste it on things beyond your control. When someone insults you, don't react with anger. Ask yourself, do I control what they say? No. Can I control my reaction? Yes. So, focus on what you can control. When a deadline is looming and a colleague's delay makes you angry, stop. You can't control them, but you can control your own pace, your own reactions, and your own choices. The miracle happens when you begin to see the distinction between what's within your control and what isn't. But this is only the beginning of the journey. There's so much more to learn and apply to your life. Let's dive deeper into how to make these 90 days count, building your inner strength. The journey continues. Earlier, we discussed how crucial it is to distinguish between what you can control and what you cannot. The ability to recognize this distinction is the foundation of Stoicism and will guide you to freedom. Not freedom from discomfort or struggle, but freedom from being controlled by things outside your control. This is where true inner resilience begins. Now, let's dive deeper into what that freedom looks like and how to start cultivating it. True freedom comes when you can separate what belongs to you from what belongs to life itself. When you master this, you will find yourself truly free. Not because everything is pleasant or easy, but because you no longer let the uncontrollable aspects of life dictate your mood or actions. That, my friend, is the pinnacle of inner resilience. And that's what Stoicism is all about. It's not just a theory on paper, it's a way of life. It should run through your blood, pulse with every breath, and shape your responses to the challenges that come your way. So, what should you do in the next 90 days to get there? The first step is to cultivate the habit of distinguishing. Every single morning, ask yourself, what's within my control? What's not? Assess each situation, think carefully about your reactions, and adjust accordingly. This is not a simple trick, it's an art of living. The key here is to stop trying to control the world around you, and instead, focus on controlling yourself. This is where every transformation begins. Now, if you're serious about making a lasting change in the next 90 days, here's your blueprint. And make no mistake, it's non-negotiable. There's no room for daydreaming or escaping reality. Stoicism isn't a philosophy you read for enjoyment. It's a life strategy to apply in every moment. We'll be moving through 5 key pillars, 5 blades, each forging your inner self. Every pillar represents a battle, and the first one, the foundation of every transformation, is deceptively simple but crucial: the mastery of the rational mind. But what does it truly mean to master your mind? Where do you begin? Let's take a look at the first pillar, mind. Nurturing the mind through reading, thinking, and writing is where the process starts. It's time for you to lock your mind into a simple but powerful rule of life. Nourish your reason every day. This isn't gentle advice. It's a survival order. In a world filled with noise and chaos, where information is constantly bombarding us, your mind, if left untrained, will become fragmented, scattered, and overwhelmed. That's why you need to devote at least 1 hour each day, without any exceptions, to feeding your mind. No excuses. This is your time to slow down, reflect, and connect with the great minds of Stoicism. Pick up a page from Marcus Aurelius's Meditations or Epictetus's Enchiridion. Don't read for entertainment. Read to guide your mind through the fog of emotions and external distractions. When Marcus Aurelius reminds himself, "You have the power not to make a judgment," he is speaking directly to you as much as he is speaking to himself. This is where true freedom begins, not in changing the world, but in mastering your thoughts. But don't stop there. Take it a step further. After you've read, copy by hand 3 to 5 quotes that resonate deeply with you. Writing these quotes doesn't just imprint them in your mind, it embeds them in your very being. As you write them down, reflect on their meaning. One of the core Stoic insights is that it is not events that cause us suffering, but the way we think about them. Transform this insight into part of who you are. After you've written the quote, immediately note how you can apply it to your life in a concrete, practical way. For instance, if you're about to enter a meeting with a difficult boss, you might write, "His mood does not define me. My reaction to it reveals who I am." This practice, though small, is how you gradually forge your reason day by day that you're not reading to impress anyone or to appear knowledgeable. You're reading to clear out the mental clutter where anxieties, biases, and unconscious reactions have rooted themselves. Writing, even just a few lines, pulls those hazy, undirected thoughts into the light, dissects them, and gives you ownership over them. It's a method of mental pruning, removing the weeds so that you can grow the garden of your mind. Let me share the story of Laura Hillenbrand, a modern example of quiet strength. She battled severe chronic vestibular syndrome, which left her barely able to stand or move. For years, she was confined to a single room, almost always bedridden. Yet, within these limiting walls, she produced monumental works like Seabiscuit and Unbroken, both of which became literary phenomena and were made into successful films. Hillenbrand didn't write because she was inspired. She wrote out of sheer discipline. Every day, she fought through her pain, using it as a forge for her will. Her body may have been immobilized, but her mind was free. And that is the essence of Stoicism. She is a modern-day Stoic, using her circumstances not as an excuse, but as an opportunity to strengthen her resolve. You don't need to face such extremes to understand that mental freedom is not a gift. It's the result of daily training. If you fail to train your mind through consistent reading, thinking, and writing, you leave yourself at the mercy of your emotions. You're vulnerable to being swept away by external forces, sharpening the mind, strengthening the body. We've talked about how nourishing the mind can set the stage for a transformation. But there's more to it. The mind, just like the body, doesn't grow strong on its own. It becomes strong through discipline. And that discipline doesn't stop with the mind. It extends to your body as well. As you continue this journey of growth, remember that the mind requires daily nourishment, and so does the body. Let's explore how that discipline can be applied to strengthen not only your mind, but also your physical self. That a mind that is nurtured daily doesn't simply grow stronger, it becomes resilient. When you dedicate just 1 hour each morning to dialogue with yourself, you sharpen your perspective, prepare your spirit, and fortify your will for whatever challenges lie ahead. This is not about luxury or indulgence, it's about duty. If you commit to this practice every day for 90 days, something remarkable will begin to unfold. The world will no longer control you the way it once did. Instead, you'll find yourself choosing your responses, standing tall in the face of chaos because your inner roots have grown deep. That's the power of reason when it's practiced consistently. This isn't a theory, it's the quiet, unglamorous work that builds a true Stoic spirit. But the mind isn't the only battlefield. Let's now turn to the body. Pillar 2. Body. Discipline through voluntary challenges for the Stoics. Discipline isn't a punishment. It isn't a set of dry, rigid rules that restrict you. No, discipline is the freedom to choose your responses. Free from the sway of temptation, weak habits, and fleeting pleasures. It's about stepping into discomfort voluntarily. This is the key to forging inner strength. When we deliberately face challenges like hunger, cold, or fatigue, we build our resilience from the inside out. Roman philosophers such as Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius all emphasized the importance of voluntary discomfort. They knew that real growth comes from embracing difficulties rather than avoiding them. Seneca, for example, didn't just theorize about philosophy, he lived it. He once wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content, with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" That simple question flips fear on its head and teaches you that what terrifies us, hunger, cold, exhaustion, are mere illusions when we face them head on. Over the next 90 days, you don't need to become a gladiator or push yourself to extremes. You simply need to train consistently, whether it's running, doing push-ups, holding planks, hitting a heavy bag, or even standing under a cold shower for 5 minutes. Anything that your body instinctively resists is precisely what will refine you. Every drop of sweat you shed, every shiver that shakes you under the cold water, is a declaration. I choose not to live comfortably. Stoicism doesn't endorse self-punishment, but it does recognize that too much comfort erodes the will. If you allow your body to stay too comfortable for too long, it becomes sluggish. An untested mind grows fragile. We live in a world designed for convenience. Food delivered to our door, air conditioning keeping us cool, entertainment available with a swipe. Yet, in exchange for all this comfort, we lose our capacity to endure. And when we can't endure hardship, we also lose our freedom and dignity. That's why stepping into discomfort is not about proving your strength to others. It's about rediscovering your true self, the version of you that is less reactive, more self-reliant, and in complete control. For instance, when you fast for a day, you'll feel hunger, but more importantly, you'll realize that you're fine. When you take a cold shower at dawn, your body will resist, but afterward, your mind will be sharp and proactive. You'll learn that nothing can control you if you willingly step into it first. First, the cold will make you hesitate, but it isn't dangerous. It's procrastination and compromise that erode your resolve day by day. If today you give in to the small temptation, "It's too cold, I'm too busy," tomorrow, that temptation will be even harder to resist. It's not a one-time slip. It's the beginning of a lifestyle of weakness. Stoics believe that virtue is formed through repeated action. It's not about waiting for inspiration. It's about committing to consistency. You get up early to run while others sleep. You meditate each evening while others scroll through their feeds. You take that cold shower instead of staying warm. Over the next 90 days, your body will grow stronger, and the inner force to choose what's right will become unshakable. No one needs to see it. No reward is required. Just know this. You will have conquered yourself, and this raises a question. For you, have you ever tried a physical challenge to train your mind? What do you think about using voluntary discomfort as a tool to strengthen your will? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and stories. Pillar 3. Mission. Performing duties like a Stoic. Now that we've built the foundation of mind and body, it's time to turn our attention to purpose, our mission. In life, the Stoics believe that we each carry within us a unique role, a duty that transcends fleeting passions or youthful dreams. This mission is our logos, the order hidden behind all things. Let's explore what it means to live in alignment with this mission and how it shapes the next stage of our transformation. The power of purpose. Embracing your mission. We've now explored how mastering the mind and disciplining the body set the stage for your transformation. But there's more to the Stoic journey. Once you've strengthened your inner resolve, it's time to focus on your mission. Each of us has a role to play in this world, a purpose beyond mere survival. The Stoics understood that living in alignment with this purpose is the key to true freedom. Let's dive into what it means to embrace your mission fully. Life isn't just about getting through the day or passing time. It's about fulfilling a cosmic assignment, a calling that the universe has placed before you. Marcus Aurelius, even as the supreme emperor of Rome, never allowed his position of power to dull his sense of duty. Every morning, he would write reminders in his notebook. These notes were not for others to read, but for himself, so he would never forget his true purpose. I cannot delay. I cannot be weary. I cannot make excuses. I was not born to lie warm under the covers, but to act. These are the words of a man who lives by reason, who doesn't seek reasons to avoid his responsibilities, but instead finds every way to fulfill his role, no matter how tired or chaotic the day may be. For the Stoics, duty is not a burden, but the foundation of inner freedom. When you know your purpose and dedicate yourself to it wholeheartedly, you no longer waver before praise or criticism. You no longer become enslaved by the daily fluctuations of emotion, because duty doesn't wait for inspiration, it only needs to be carried out. So, as you embark on the next 90 days, take a moment to reflect on your own mission. Ask yourself, what is my work? Not just the work that helps you survive, but the work that has led you to this moment. Maybe it's finishing the book you started but never completed. Maybe it's acquiring a skill you know you need to step into the next version of yourself. Or perhaps it's rebuilding trust with loved ones after past mistakes. The mission you choose doesn't need to be grand or heroic. It simply needs to be essential. It must be important enough that you will refuse to give up on it. Once you've chosen your mission, commit to it fully. Lock yourself into action. This is not about working harder, but working with reverence for the task at hand. Dedicate at least 90 minutes every day to deep, focused, uninterrupted work. Turn off your phone. Lock the door. Eliminate every distraction. In these 90 minutes, you are not just completing tasks, you are fulfilling a part of your destiny. In this moment, you and Marcus Aurelius are no different, standing strong against the world's chaos and choosing to do what is right without making excuses. You'll encounter resistance along the way. Your mind will try to plot procrastination. You'll feel boredom, doubt, or wonder if the work you're doing even matters. But this is precisely when you must be steadfast. The Stoics didn't wait for the right feelings to act. They acted, and their virtue guided their emotions. When you're performing your duty, you are letting go of the lazy, weak part of yourself. You are shedding the part that seeks comfort and excuses. Not everyone will understand. Some may even call you extreme, harsh, or joyless. But remember, you're not here to seek acceptance. You're here to complete what you must, as you carry out your duty day after day, despite the weather, your mood, or the loneliness you may feel. You will change. You will no longer be someone who waits for inspiration. You will become someone who creates it. You will no longer chase after goals. You will live in your role. You will no longer be easily swayed by the lure of comfort. You will become unshakable. This is the place where comfort is traded for meaning, where discipline becomes the path to self-mastery. It's here that Stoicism is most alive. It's not in talking about ideals, but in living them. Fulfilling your duty isn't an obligation, it's an honor. Over the next 90 days, let your duty become the banner under which you fight. Pillar 4. Stillness, meditation, and self-reflection. Now that we've explored the power of purpose, the next crucial element in your journey is stillness. In today's noisy world, where every moment is filled with distractions, taking time to sit in silence may seem like a revolutionary act. Yet, for the Stoics, this act of stillness is essential for clarity and growth. Let's take a look at how stillness can transform your life. In an age where our lives are constantly interrupted by notifications, tasks, and the pressures of daily expectations, the Stoics refused to be swept away by this relentless pace. Instead, they made stillness a daily ritual, a time to pause, reflect, and cleanse the mind. Marcus Aurelius, despite shouldering the immense responsibilities of an empire, made time each evening to reflect on his day. He would write in his journal, asking himself, "Have I lived according to my ideals today? Is there anything I regret? What will I do better tomorrow?" This wasn't just journaling for the sake of reflection. It was a mental training ritual. It was a time to listen to inner impulses, dissect unconscious reactions, and cultivate reason. Just like a gardener tending the soil, this practice allowed Marcus to nurture his mind and sharpen his focus for the challenges ahead. Stillness isn't an escape from life. It's a strategic retreat. Think of it like a warrior returning to camp to sharpen his sword, repair his armor, and prepare for the next battle. When you sit in silence, free from distractions, you return to your center. This practice of stillness strengthens your ability to focus, enhances your emotional control, and reinforces the virtues you're working to develop. Remember this: stillness is not a luxury, but a necessity. The transformative power of stillness and discipline. In the previous steps, we explored how stillness and reflection set the stage for mastering your inner world. But true transformation doesn't stop there. Now, let's dive into why cultivating iron discipline is the key to achieving lasting change. Once you embrace the power of stillness, the next crucial step is taking consistent action. No excuses, no procrastination. Let's explore how you can make this a reality in the next 90 days. Stillness gives you the chance not only to live, but to understand how you are living. Taking just 10 to 20 minutes a day is enough. You don't need elaborate techniques. What's essential is finding a quiet space with gentle lighting and having the determination not to flee from yourself. Sit down, observe the flow of your breath, and simply inhale and exhale as a silent witness to your thoughts. Whenever your mind starts to wander, instead of resisting it, simply acknowledge the thought and return to the present moment. First, your mind might feel chaotic, and that's perfectly okay. Stillness doesn't mean instant calm. It's about having the courage to face your inner unrest moment by moment, without running away. If sitting still feels unnatural, take a silent walk instead. Try walking in the soft light of dusk or dawn, moving slowly and feeling each step connect you to the earth. Over time, you'll notice your scattered thoughts dissipate like mist. In that moment, you begin to see yourself clearly again, not through the filter of deadlines, social media, or distractions, but as a real person with strengths, weaknesses, fears, and untapped potential. Before you go to sleep, turn off all lights and sit quietly for 15 minutes. This time is not meant for reproach or regret. It's about learning from your day. Write down one or two things you learned that day, whether it was a failure that taught you something valuable or a small victory that made you proud. This isn't a record of achievements, it's your inner map. Each night, you mark a new landmark, each line a step toward becoming your ideal self. This seemingly small practice lies at the core of Stoicism, inner self-mastery. No one is forcing you to do it, and there's no reward or recognition waiting at the end of it. And that's precisely what makes it so valuable. It's a commitment to yourself, and it requires no audience. It's just you and your integrity. Stillness doesn't make you passive. In fact, it transforms you into a keen observer of your thoughts and emotions. You no longer react impulsively or get moved by trivial distractions. You become the master of yourself, deliberate, clear, and profound. And it is in the silence, away from the noise, that you will hear most clearly the call of reason, of duty, and of the path you must walk. So, if you're seeking the hidden leverage to fundamentally transform yourself over the next 90 days, start with this simple act. Sit, breathe, and reflect. Once you have mastered the art of stillness, you will understand why the next step in your journey cannot be delayed. By then, procrastination will have no place in your life, because you'll see yourself clearly and you will no longer make excuses. Pillar 5. Iron discipline. No excuses, no compromise. When we talk about discipline, we need to understand that Stoic philosophy has no tolerance for procrastination. Not because procrastination is a sin, but because it's a trap, a refined form of self-deception. It tricks us into believing, I'll do it later, just for today. Or even worse, it's okay if I skip just one day. But here's the thing, Stoicism doesn't thrive on promises or intentions. It thrives on action. In the ancient Roman army, which produced many of the Stoic philosophers, discipline wasn't optional. It was a necessity for survival. A soldier could make no excuses, take no unauthorized days off, and could not postpone training. Discipline wasn't just about strengthening the body, it was about forging the mind. Each training session was a commitment to oneself, a promise to stick to the path, no matter how challenging it became. Marcus Aurelius, even as the Emperor of Rome, made no exceptions for himself. He wrote before dawn. He trained despite having 1,000 responsibilities pulling at him. For him, the path to virtue didn't allow for negotiation. And so it is for you. Once you embark on this 90-day journey, you are no longer someone who waits for the perfect moment or for time to magically appear. You become someone who creates time. This means that if you've scheduled time to read 10 pages, run 3 kilometers, or write 500 words today, nothing should interrupt you. No excuses. No, I'll do it tomorrow. No, I'm too tired. No negotiating with yourself. The moment you give in is the moment you allow the weaker version of yourself to take back control. You might think, but there are days when I feel truly exhausted. Stoicism does not deny that exhaustion. It doesn't ignore that. You may feel worn out, but Stoicism is not cruel. It's about integrity. If you miss your morning session, you still have the afternoon to catch up. If you skip today, you are duty-bound to make it up tomorrow. Not because someone is forcing you to, but because you've committed to this journey with self-respect and discipline. Habits are not forged by fleeting inspiration. Habits are forged by showing up every single day. Consistency, no matter how small the effort, is what builds the foundation of your character. This is where Stoic discipline becomes your greatest ally. And as we reach the final pillar, you will see that discipline is not just about hard work. It's about crafting a life that's aligned with your highest purpose and making the daily decisions that bring you closer to it. The journey of discipline. No excuses, no compromises weave. Seen, discipline is the key to transforming not just your body, but also your mind and life. Once you commit to this path, you will encounter resistance, but your Stoic principles will help you push through. It's about honoring your promises, not just to others, but, most importantly, to yourself. So, will you keep your promise? Think about it. How many times have you given up because of just one day off? How many goals have you abandoned because you justified a break as just one day? Stoicism teaches that virtue doesn't come from feelings or emotions, but from the repeated behaviors we choose, even when we don't feel like it. The true moment of growth isn't when everything is easy. It's when you don't feel like doing something, but you do it anyway. This example. Set a rule for yourself. It's out at 11 a.m. But last night, stayed up scrolling through your phone until nearly 1 a.m. This morning, you wake up at 6, feeling the effects of your night. But instead of starting your morning routine, sit down for 10 minutes of meditation right in your journal. Not because you're a robot, because you refuse to obey your promise to yourself. You're tired? Then go to bed earlier tonight, but avoid the responsibility of yesterday's mistake. It's in those moments when you leave the warmth of bed, cold shower, or when you sit down to write with a lazy mind. You are not defending someone else. You're conquering the weak habit inside. Negotiation is not just a slogan. It's a strategy. Live by this principle. No longer need to decide much more whether you'll rank. Read. The answer is already pre-set. You must, and that's why you say willpower and focus. You turn action into identity. Day after day, you become someone unrecognizable, even to yourself. Not because you're superhuman, but because you keep your word. Quitting. No compromise. No bargaining with yourself. The 3 stages of change every day journey begins with blazing determination. Inspiration surfaces. You can clearly see the new version of yourself on the horizon. Sweet, most tangible promise. As with every worthwhile quest, challenges don't take long to appear. They arrive unannounced, quietly and inevitably, and they come in the form of 3 psychological walls. Anyone who is committed to change must overcome these walls. And it is Stoicism, the philosophy of discipline and reason, that becomes your compass, helping you stand firm against the opposing wind. The first wall, days 7 to 10. When enthusiasm starts to fade, the first week flies by with excitement. But by day 7, your body begins to complain. Your mind, which was once eager, starts whispering, "I'm too tired. Let's skip today." And here you face the first resistance, not from the outside world, but from within yourself. This is when reason must choose, act or abandon. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, taught that the only thing we truly own is our reactions and our actions. No one forces you to wake up early for meditation. No one checks if you've read, trained, or stayed on schedule. It's just you and your choice. The first wall may not be tall, but it is cunning. It lures you with seemingly reasonable excuses, just this once. You've worked hard enough. But Stoicism allows no concessions. Action builds habits, and habits shape your destiny. When you overcome this first wall, you do more than defeat laziness. You plant the seed of resolve. This is where the real work begins. The second wall, day 30. When everything becomes boring by day 30, you've made it a month. Your body has adapted. What once felt challenging, waking up early, cold showers, deep work, has become routine. Yet, boredom begins to seep in like a thin smoke. The initial thrill is gone, and the promised results haven't arrived as quickly as you expected. You find yourself repeating the same schedule like a machine, and your mind starts asking, am I just wasting my time? This is when many people falter. They change their goals, break their systems, and seek something new. But that's the trap of inconsistency. The Stoic doesn't act on inspiration. The Stoic acts out of duty. In the quiet of the second month, those who follow Stoicism delve deeper into their inner selves. They don't search for novelty outside, but they find depth in familiar actions. True transformation happens in this phase, when you stop looking for external rewards and start embracing the simplicity of duty. The final wall, day 60, when you become someone else, and then the miracle happens. By day 60, you begin to see a shift within yourself. You have become someone else, someone who no longer needs to be reminded of the rules, someone who does the work without hesitation, without bargaining with yourself. This is the moment when everything you've done, the challenges, the discomfort, the discipline, begins to take root. This is when you step into your new identity. The version of you that started this journey 60 days ago is no longer who you are today. You've crossed the walls, you've faced resistance, and now you are reaping the rewards that as we continue this journey. Remember this, every resistance point is a test, and Stoicism equips you with the tools to pass them. So, as you move forward, the next phase will show you how to maintain this transformation and turn your new habits into a permanent part of who you are. Let's dive into the next pillar, the transformation within. The power of consistency with covered the walls of resistance you will face in your 90-day journey, and how each challenge strengthens you further. But what happens when you finally break through those walls? When you no longer feel the pull of hesitation or doubt? Let's dive into the phase of transformation, where all your efforts and discipline come together. There is no fanfare, no dramatic moment that marks your success. One morning, you wake up and go through your routine effortlessly, as if it's always been this way. You open your book to read, you meditate, you train, and everything flows naturally, like breathing. There's no strain, no force. This is the moment when you realize you've been reborn. You have reached the phase of inner transformation, where the actions you've committed to have finally taken root within your being. At this point, there is no coercion, no negotiation with yourself. Discipline is no longer a burden, but an integral part of who you are. As John Dryden famously said, we first make our habits, and then our habits make us. From this moment forward, a new version of yourself emerges, calmer, clearer, and unshakable. You have achieved the transformation that Stoicism promises, a life guided by reason, where your actions are aligned with your values. Stoicism doesn't promise ease, but it does promise something far more valuable: resilience. By passing through these three walls of resistance, you begin to understand why Marcus Aurelius called obstacles the path. Each time you rise, despite fatigue. Each time you remain steadfast, despite boredom. With each of these moments, you are cultivating the virtue that no one can take away from you. A 90-day journey is not just a battle against old habits. It's a rite of passage, a coming-of-age ceremony for a mind that is now guided by reason. The three walls, the trials of fatigue, monotony, and self-doubt, don't just make you stronger. They transform you into someone entirely different. When you embark on a 90-day journey with the Stoic spirit, you are not simply building habits. You are honing your character. Each of the 5 pillars, from reason, physical fitness, and duty to tranquility and discipline, represents a battlefield that you must hold firm on every single day. And it's in every challenge, every moment when you feel like giving up, that Stoicism reminds you. This is when you are forging virtue. It's not empty theory or wishful thinking. It's practical action. It's sweating, resisting laziness, and confronting your inner weaknesses head-on.so. If you truly lock in for the full 90 days, think about this. Who will you become at the end? Which wall do you think will be the hardest for you to overcome? The first, second, or third? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm eager to hear your perspectives and engage with you. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share it with someone who needs it, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any upcoming Stoic content. And remember, the next video is already waiting for you right here. Keep going, stay strong. The journey doesn't stop, it's just beginning.